Welcome to Harmonized. I am your host, Gigi Naval, integrative and functional registered dietitian nutritionist, here to help you harmonize your gut and hormone health for improved metabolic health. Hello, friend. I am going to start off with a personal life update, and that's partly, or no, let me be honest, that is the reason why I have been MIA. So 2 weeks ago, I had to put to sleep my cat Snowbell, who has been with me for 18 years, but she was 21 years old. So yes, I'm grateful to God. She had a wonderful long life, and it wasn't up until just a few months ago that she was diagnosed with a bladder mass. And so I just didn't want her to suffer long. And so when it came to the time that she did not eat for a couple days and she didn't go to the bathroom at all, and taking her back and forth to the vet, I knew that it was time to just relieve her from her discomfort and pain. And Snowbell was so special to me. She showed me, like many of you who have had pets of various kinds and you've had to put them to sleep, you know this, that you've had special relationships with certain pets. And I had an incredible relationship with Snowbell. She was my workout buddy in the morning, my work buddy, my dissertation buddy when I was going through my doctoral program, all the things. And she loved me so much, and I could feel it every time she was around. And I loved her like crazy. And so it's been hard losing her. But I do know, I have the hope that when Jesus comes to come get all of us, we will all be reunited with our loved ones who we lost here on earth, but we will also be reunited with all of our pets. So that's a beautiful hope that we have. Okay, so let's move on to the fourth mineral in my series. Yes, we're still in the mineral series. Last time I was here with you, I talked about sodium and how sodium needs potassium and potassium needs sodium to be absorbed. So we are spotlighting potassium. Potassium is a mineral that a lot of people don't really think about. But guess what? It is also very important in helping us produce stomach acid. It's one of the key players. It's not the only key player, but it's an important key player along with sodium. Sodium and potassium, they need each other, but they are buddies in helping us produce stomach acid. And if we are not producing enough stomach acid, then the food that we eat, the beverages that we consume, they come with bacteria. And if we don't have enough stomach acid on board, it won't kill off the particular bacteria that we don't want in our system to grow in excess. Otherwise, that leads to gas, bloating, GI discomfort. Okay, so keep that in mind, that is involved with our ability to produce stomach acid, and then that is involved in digestion. But guess what? There are some people who have issues with constipation, and it's probably because, not the only reason, but it's probably because they are not consuming enough potassium. Having enough potassium on board helps the other processes in our body and in our gut community to help us with doing number 2 comfortably. Okay, so what else? What about our hormone health? How does that help us? Well, in previous episodes, when I was talking about calcium, if we are not consuming enough calcium every day, then the body will say, oh, you know what? That's okay. I will help myself find calcium, and I will find it from other places like my person's bones and my person's teeth. And I will take that and I will pull it into, through the bloodstream to make the blood look normal, because that's what I care about, homeostasis in the blood, in the serum. And then I'm just going to continue to pull it into the cells. And so when our cells become less permeable, it makes it difficult for potassium to get into our cells. And we need adequate potassium to get into our cells to help get our blood sugars into our cells. So if calcium is being pulled into our cells and it's producing a shell, then it's making it difficult because it's becoming less permeable. So it's making it less difficult for potassium to get into the cells. And we need potassium to help bring in our blood sugars into our cells. So could you imagine our blood sugars would then be affected if we are not consuming enough potassium and if we're not consuming enough calcium. And then if we are not consuming enough potassium and it's not getting into our cells, then what happens is that thyroid hormones are unable to get from the blood, from the serum, into our cells. And when you go to the doctor and they draw blood and they will look at your T4, T3, they will tell you, oh, your thyroid is fine. Your T4 and T3 levels are okay. But here's the thing. Yes, it's normal in the bloodstream, but is it getting into our cells where we need it to be, where we need it to do other jobs, okay, in addition to being in the bloodstream? So without adequate potassium, it's difficult for the thyroid hormones to get pulled into the cells. All right. Let me end with this. Potassium and sodium are also involved with the processes of our hormones. Okay, so potassium does work with progesterone and testosterone and progesterone work with potassium. So there's this bi-directional relationship, but our other hormones are also in need of adequate amounts of potassium to work well. Okay, so potassium is a friend along with sodium, along with magnesium, along with calcium. These are our macro minerals, and it is so important to address them. Otherwise, we will have issues with the rest of the other minerals, and then that can affect the other processes in our body. So do your best to be intentional about consuming the foods that are rich in potassium. And I'm sure what comes to mind right away for you is bananas. All right, bananas, your papayas, so many good things like that. The dark green leafies. It's so worth it to be able to consume those on a regular basis. Okay, so don't forget potassium. All right, friend, please don't forget that Jesus is coming soon. What a glorious day that will be when we will get to see him face to face. And so in the meantime, in all that we do and all that we eat and drink, let us do it all for the glory of God.